Why the woman called Fujiko Mine is a must of Lupin the Third fans. There's a lot of Lupin the Third out there, more than half of the century's worth. In fact, so they'll almost never be out of the material to watch. But there's one series in particular, the woman called Fujiko Mine, that deserves you special attention. Released in 2012, the 30-episode series puts the show's beautiful and duplicitous scripture at the forefront. But there's a lot more going on than your typical Lupin story, both in terms of story and style. Was probably not the best Lupin to start with. We recommended Castle Cagliostro or the first. It's a must-watch returning fans. Here are just a few reasons why. The retro style art style. If you read the original Lupin the Third manga, the woman called Fujiko Mine should look a bit familiar. What the series isn't a perfect throwback to Monkey Punch's sketchy original style. It definitely pulls a lot of inspiration from it. Lupin's style can vary from special to special and from series to series as it stands, but the artistic rendering has a flavor all its own. We call it a more raw than rugged time for the series. It's no wonder the style carried it into multiple sequel movies. Joined these were under the eye of Takashi Mukoke, as opposed to Fujiko Mine director Sayo Yamamoto. The sexy factor. Speaking of the original Lupin manga, it was a lot less all ages, like a lot less. One of the earliest stories involved Lupin uncovering a microfiche from a target's daughter who had it. No hidden, soft is to say, even the franchise at its stance has eased up a bit, but the woman called Fujiko Mine brings sexy back in a lot of ways. The art is amazing, yes, but also a more adult feel for the series that you had in the literal decades. Iwamoto, together with writer Mario Okada, nails that mood right from the start of the opening sequence. Focus on Fujiko. As you might have guessed for the title, the woman called Fujiko Mine focuses on Fujiko herself. She had a few specials with a special focus, but this is the first time she's been the main character. It is a twisty, turny story. We didn't know how much about Fujiko or about any of the show starts. For that matter, so what does it mean as we start to peel away the layers of Fujiko's life and past? Whatever it amounts to is a trial of fire by Miyuki Sawashiro. The voice actors took over the role of the Fujiko in the 2011 special Blood Seal Eternal Mermaid, but in the series she proves she's more than up to the legendary role. A serial story. We won't give away too much about the actual story of the Fujiko of the woman called Fujiko Mine because it really does have to be seen to be believed. We got from a typical Lupin the Third story to all headed man and Alice in Wonderland imagery. What does it all mean? That's what the rest of the cast wants to know too. This is a major reason why this series, but excellent, is not at all a good anime series for Lupin the Third. Knowing the characters and the relationships and knowing what the show is generally like is a must. If you start with these, regardless of how good it is, you wouldn't get a good idea of what the show at large is like. If you want at least a passing familiarity show, well, for a bit, you might actually find yourself wondering it feels like real Lupin the Third. Until the end, anyway, a heck of a playoff. If you find yourself with any doubts as you approach the endgame, hang in there. The final episode of The Woman Called Fujiko Mine brings everything together in a way that's artistic, entertaining, and so very Lupin. The best part, as heavy as it is, with lore and character history, it actually doesn't destroy any of what came before. You just have to see for yourself and what it means. But the end of the series feels more like an extended special than anything else. It's all one cohesive story, one of the wildest plots we've ever seen in the history of Lupin the Third. And for a series that turned out Return of Pykel and saying something, ultimately is a must-see for long-time fans of the series, and fortunately something you can finally have on your shelf at home.